Hello, hello. It's Sandy from Ledoux Designs. I'm gonna give it just a second for a couple of people to pop on so I don't have to repeat too much. I hope you're having a great time preparing for the holidays. I decided tonight that I wanted to show you guys a few things that I have planned for next year. So I have these ideas that, that I've already started using. Hi, Cheryl. That I kind of started last year, or this year actually, and next year I want to perfect it just a little bit more. So, and I wasn't prepared enough to start in the book that I got to do this in. So tonight we're just going to do a test run so you guys can see like what I do and how I do it. Go ahead and just say hi so I can make sure that I see comments, because this is going to be a little bit interactive. And I want to make sure I can see the comments so I know you guys are talking to me. Hi, Sandra. Yes, you knew because I said I was having a sassy feeling that I was going to be using Sassy Club, didn't you? I thought that might be a little hint. Okay, so I'm not sure which one of these goes in the Enchanted Friends and which one goes in the Tiny Helpers, because I took them out really fast. How do you do, Deanne? Hi, Sandra. Hi, Cheryl. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for popping in. So I know that you guys see me color all the time, and you know that I just randomly pick colors and match them up and swatch them and all those good things. But I also do speed coloring videos. And with speed coloring videos, you kind of can't do that really fast. Your ears perked up. You kind of can't just sit down and do a speed coloring and color it really fast in like 30 minutes and then speed it up and be done. It's not quite that easy. So I know some of you who watch me don't necessarily do speed coloring, but I thought that this can also work as a helpful tool for you guys. So I wanted to show you a couple of things I got that I'm going to use this next year. There are two. And this is not a sales pitch. This is just, you can use whatever book you want, but I'm just telling you, this is the bomb diggity right here. This right here. So if you haven't seen this, this is called Plan All the Things. This is a Sassy Club planner, and they come in pink and black. See, I told you I have an obsession for this. This is my brand new one I just got. I haven't even opened it yet. This is the one I had before. And basically, this one is a planner. So it has planner page layouts, but they're blank. So you can do whatever you want with them. So I already had a planner that I was using from Erin Condren, because I really, really like Erin Condren. And I like the way they're already set up. But I did build a planner like this for my daughter. So I know that it's really, really helpful. So mid-year, when I decided to start doing speed coloring videos, I decided to use this because it was all I had that I could actually color in. So you can actually color in these books. And so what I did was, in order to do a speed coloring video, I have to know my colors before I start, like where it's gonna go, what colors. Some of it comes to me naturally. I just look at it and I know I want it to be this color or that color. But for this type of situation, there are so many different mixes and combinations you can make to get what you want. And for this one down here, same thing. I wanted to give it some texture and stuff. So what I do is I stamp the images in the book and then color and do combinations in the book. And then I write them down. So when I get ready to do the specific speed coloring that I want, I have all of the information ready. Like I know what color, I know what I want to do with it. I know how I want it to look. And I even write next to it, like for the skin, I want this, for the ears and nose, I want that, and for the tie, I want that, and the jacket, I want that, and the hoof, I want that. And then I put this book out to the side that you can't see, and I start coloring for a speed coloring video, and that way I can just reference. It helps so much. And then if I ever want to color that again, I don't have to figure out my combinations again. Or if, and this happens to me often, let's say I colored Bugs Bunny and I posted a card and somebody commented 3 months later, hey, I love that combination you had for your rabbit. What colors did you use? Well, I mean, I can guess at approximately what I used, but if I want to know exactly what I used, I just open my book, look it up, and I can tell you exactly what I used. And then I had a couple of people ask me, well, what color would you use for this specific whatever it is that they want to color? So someone asked me about Azriel, the cat. So I put it in the book, colored it, made sure it was the combination that I wanted, and then I got to tell them what colors they were. So as you can see, I do this with a lot of the stamps that I have, and it's been very helpful. I don't necessarily have to color the whole thing. I just want the idea of the coloring. So you could color the whole thing or you could not. It's up to you. But this book, I felt like it's a little big to sit on my desk like this while I'm speed coloring. So I bought this one, and this is going to be my 2025 book. There's nothing in it right now, but this, just like the calendar, you can actually color on the pages, and they're not set up like a calendar. They're just the dot pages, which I love. So until I figure out how I want to do the layout, I'm thinking 2 per page. I thought that tonight we would color a few and I would just place them in here for now so I can learn the area and the amount of space that I need in order to write all the descriptions that I want to write. So I wanted to also share, I had them sitting out here. I swear I did. Oh, here they are. A few other accent pieces that I want to use. So this one, this is the Everyday Words stamp set from Sassy Club. And I like it because it says pen testing, which, I mean, marker testing, pen testing, same thing. So I can stamp that on there when it's a test or when it's one that I actually want to use. And then important reminder, I can put the dates. I like this one, do this shit. To do emails, notes, all this stuff. Like, it's really handy, but it's not necessarily just for planning. It's for everything. So it counts for more than one thing. So I also have this one because I love these gooey things and it'll decorate my pages. And then I figured for this one, I could use this to put in the beginning of the month what the month looks like, so I can choose what days I want to do the coloring, and then I can write the dates of when each one will be posted for on my TikTok and Instagram. So I thought that would be very helpful. I think I'm going to use these as the blockers that say skin, hair, whatever, you know. So I'm going to use these bullet points, and this is acrylic, so it's nice. It's made really well, and I'll be able to put the little bullet points, and then I'll be able to write in here what I want to do with that. And I might use these honeycombs too, because let me tell you, I'm a sucker for some honeycomb stuff. So these are the items that I am going to use in order to decorate this planner, and you will see this planner throughout the year. Yeah, you're excited about it, Sandra? I know, me too. I'm super excited. When it came in the mail, I was like pumped, so excited. So I'll start stamping them in there and using them as I go. And then I'll start labeling them and everything. And so I'm really excited about that. But when I get something new and an idea like this, I need to see how it works before I go too far into it, because then I'll change my mind, and then I have the first few pages are kind of jacked, and then I get into the groove of what I want. So what I thought we would do tonight is color some, if not all, of the 7 Dwarfs. They're fairly small. They come in 2 sets. So there's Enchanted Friends and Tiny Helpers. So there's all the dwarves are in here, and I stamped them already. And I also stamped Snow White and Prince Charming, but we'll have to do them later because we won't have time tonight. Hi, Christy. So this is what I did. I stamped them. So if you don't have a book, you could do it in this manner if you'd like. I stamped them far enough apart that as we color tonight, I'm going to write the information down so you can see how you can start tracking what you're doing. And it's really great because it will be so helpful for you to see from one step to another how you're doing and what colors, how your colors change throughout the years and throughout the time of coloring. So what I did, whenever I want to color something that looks like something that I super love, what I do is I try to find myself an image of what that looks like so that I can try to match colors. So before the live tonight, I went ahead and printed out these 2 sheets that I found. They're a little jacked. I mean, you find them on the internet. They never print out the way you want them to. Hi, Diana. So what I did was I labeled each person, like which one was which. And what I'm looking for is the idea of the colors that work on their clothes. And I asked for the 7 Dwarfs. So I got a second copy just in case, because this one cut off, so I won't know Doc's shoes or anything like that. So I have these 2 samples that I'm going to work with today in order to come up with the colors for the characters. So I don't know if, yes. So I just Googled 7 Dwarfs, and these are the 2 pictures of the ones that I liked. And so I printed them out. Their colors will vary. So this is, well, they don't vary much on these, but sometimes you'll find them in completely different colors. Like some of them look like this Bashful was in khaki, and some look like kind of an off orange yellowish color. And so what I'm going to do is use these to mirror in my images, and then we'll compare them back to here and see how close we got. So I do this a lot if I don't want to just randomly pick colors, if I want something to look similar to what I've seen in the past. And this can do with anything. I mean, you can choose a flower, you can choose a character, you can choose anything you want. But since I've been on a roller coaster lately, I thought nothing was better than the 7 Dwarfs, because, I don't know, I feel a little dopey tonight. I also felt a little grumpy this morning when I woke up with a migraine. I always feel a little bashful when somebody says something about my art. It makes me all excited, but also blushy and red. And then this one is sleepy, sneezy, Doc, and happy. And so I've kind of felt all of that lately. And so I thought this would be great to play around with. So we're going to start with this sheet. So we'll start with Dopey first, and then we'll move Dopey, Grumpy, and Bashful. And we'll see how we feel after that, how long it takes to go through the process. I'm not sure how long it'll take, so we're going to start off with 3, and if we have to move the other 3 to another video, we can do that as well. But I'm going to leave these papers laying out up here at the top and we'll refer to them if we need to. But I'm just going to leave them up there, and we're going to use this to test our colors. So Dopey, for instance, he has a purple hat, but it's not the purple I always use. It's more of a dull, it's more of a dull purple. So I'm going to grab the same kind of paper that I'm using for this, and I'm going to test out some colors. So my first instinct is V28, 25, and 22. So that's 28. This is V25. Okay, starting to get me into that color. And this one is V22. So this one is really light, but I feel like I'm missing just a little bit of a more of a pinky purple tone to it. So I need to replace one of these colors with like a pinky color. So maybe V12 will bring in that pink color. So if I put that over here and I mix it with these, I think it gives me that tone almost exactly. So I am going to do this one with V28, 25, and 12, and then if it's too bright with 12, we'll add V22 over top of it, just to tone it down a bit if we need to. So putting V22 over top of 12 will just tone it down almost enough to get it right where we want it to be. So I'm going to take these 4 colors, and I'm going to set those aside. Those are going to be for the hat. And then we want to kind of match this. Now, I might want mine to be a little more yellow-green than the, I don't even know what color that is. Looks a little bit more like, has more brown in it. But I want it to be more yellow-green. So I'm going to choose, let's see, let's try. These might be a little bit too bright, but let's see how this goes. So I chose YG17 because I need a bit of a green, and that might be a little bit too green for me. I might need something a little more like a YG95. So let's just set up 2. I think that's better because that's too bright. It's going to clash. Hi, Janie. And then the second color I chose was YG03. So I'm going to put it next to that one just so we can see. And then I'm going to put it next to this one. And again, way too green. I need it to be more yellow. So let's keep going on the YG, and let's try YG93. So I think YG93 is better. But then I need to move into a lighter color. So I have a YG21 or a YG01. And 01 is more green than yellow. And I need that yellow in here to make this work. So let's try our YG95 that we chose. And then our YG93, which is a little bit more greenish. And then if we take our YG21 and we put it next to it, and then we blend it over top, I think we're going to end up with the color that we want for this outfit. This one is a little dark, but it's okay because we're only going to use that for shadow. We might could find a new color for that if we could find one that was a little darker than this YG21 without being too green. So let me just look real quick. I'm not really sure that we have something that makes that color. So let me just browse. I tend to want to say something like maybe the YG00, but it still has a lot of green in it. I like the YG21, so I think we're going to stick with that. But we might need to work with that color. So we may have to bring in YG91 just to kind of tone that. and we might get exactly what this looks a lot like that. Hey, Jana. Hey, Kathy. So I say we leave the YG 95, 93, 91 and the YG 21 out, and we'll play with those colors to try to get this color. Now, for our shoes, that's really easy. To me, that screams to me like the E44, 43, 42, 41 type range. So we're going to start with 44 and see how that goes. So this is 44. It's a little bit on the darker side, but we need a shadow. And then 43, that's real close. And then if we grab 42, I think we might just get there. That's just enough to bring it up light, and I think we'll be perfect on this one. So in the end, we have E44, 43, and E42. Now his eyes are blue, but this little guy, he just has dot eyes. I am going to pull out a blue because maybe I can show you how to put a little bit of blue around those eyes. I think that's a little bit too bright. I think he needs more like a B45. Yeah, there we go. So we'll just hold that out because maybe we'll add some little blue for his eyes. He also has like a goldish yellow belt and buttons, and some of these colors will repeat for some of the other images. So I tend to, when I go for gold, I tend to want to use the Y26, 28, and then come down to YR23. And if I need something lighter, I go from there. But this is Y26. And this is Y28, which this is more rustic. I think I should zoom in so you guys can see that a little better. So this one is a little more rustic, but it helps to tone down some of these other bright colors. This is my YR23. So I like these three together, and I think that when you take 26 and you put it over top of this one, it makes it perfect. So I tend to use those three together the most for gold. And we'll need a little black on the belt. We all know how black goes. C9, 7, 6. Those are my favorite. C9, 7, 6. So we'll just pull those because we already know how they work. And then his patches will be the same color as this. Now, you can't actually see his patches because of the way he's standing, but it's totally fine. Now, skin tone. He has a very light, pale-ish skin tone. And so I say with skin tone, you can make that any color you want, whatever makes you happy. But I think for us tonight, we're going to stick with a lighter skin tone. So instead of using E04 for the shadow area like we normally do, I'm going to use the RV95 because it's not quite as dark and it has a bit of a pink tone to it. So we're definitely going to do like the base color E000 like we always do, just to wet the paper. And then we'll use this RV95 as like our shadow. And then we're going to come in with E11, and E11 always touches or goes over that shadow area and brings it into a skin color. And then we'll use E21, and you can use E21 and E11 in whichever reverse order works best for you. But again, skin tone, and then E00 to finish it off. Now his little nose is very pink, so I have several different colors I like to use for pink, so we're going to test a few. Sometimes I like to use R21. I feel like that's really close to his little pinky nose. But there's also R81. which is a little bit more on the pink side, a little bit less on the fleshy side. RV32, sort of a mix in between. And then RV42 is kind of a good shadow for this one. So I think we're going to go with these two. So this is RV42 and R21. So we're going to use that for his nose. Are you guys with me so far? I know I'm whipping through this, but we'll do it again for the next one that we do as well. So once I decide on the colors, then I'm going to put this aside because I don't need it. I'm going to pull out my little, this is my little Dopey that we're going to color. And I'm going to write those colors down. So for the skin, we're going to use E000. And sometimes I even write base. So I know that's the base coat. And then I always number my colors from the darkest to the lightest. So you can choose however you want. But I'll say for my skin, I'm going to go RV95, E11, E21, and E00. So that's all of those. And then for my nose, I'm going to use RV42 and R21. Again, darker first, then lighter. If you follow the same pattern every time you do it, you'll just know when you look at that color combination that that is the order you're going to color in. So for the belt, I'm going to do the blacks. So C9, C7, and C6. And then for the gold part of the belt, so belt gold, I'm going to use Y28, Y26, and YR23. So that's those three. And then for shoes and patches, I'll just write shoes because you can't see his little patches in this. So for his shoes, we're going to do E44, 43, and 42. And then for the outfit, and I'm trying to write it big enough that you guys can see it while I'm coloring, so that's why it's so big. But when I write it in the book, it'll be much smaller. The outfit is going to be YG 95, 93, and 91, and then YG 21. So if they fall in a sequence, I don't always put the YG in front of it, but if it jumps from a sequence to a whole nother number, I continue to put the YG just to confirm that it's the right color. And then for his hat, I'm going to do V28, V25, V12, and then V22 is optional. Meaning if I need it, I'll use it. So that's kind of how I do it. So those are the colors that I have. Now if I were going to do, oh, I have one more. So optional eyes, B45. So if I decide to add a little bit of blue to the eyes, that's the color I have pulled. So when I'm getting ready to do this type of scenario, I make sure I have all my markers laying out in this order that I want to use them. And I'm just moving some other stuff out of the way so I don't make a mess over here. And I'm going to start and go down in this order is exactly how I'm going to color him. So I'm going to start with the skin with the E000, so that would be this one. And I'm just going to put that base coat all over his face. and his nose, even though we're making his nose pink. I don't want to go into his mouth because I don't want to get it on his teeth. And then, of course, his little hands. You can't see his neck because he's got a turtleneck on. And then I'm going to move on to the RV95. Again, they're in this order right here. So RV95 is where I'm going to put the shadow. And like I said, I don't do this every time I color, but I do if I'm going to do a video or a live or a speed coloring, only because it helps me to be able to stay on track. I mean, I don't do it for my lives much anymore, but I would do it for speed coloring until I get like just really, really wicked fast at it. So wherever I want a little bit of this shadow to be, I'm going to go ahead and put it in there right now. And these I'll start doing these in those really awesome books I got from Sassy Club, because I can color directly in that book. So I could color him in the book. Now, anytime I have an image with their mouth open, I like to use the darkest shadow color that I use for the skin inside the mouth. So for his tongue and his mouth, I want this darkest color in there. It kind of makes it sink back a little bit into the background, and I don't want you seeing it. His mouth, inside his mouth, wouldn't be up front. It would be back in the background. Okay, so the next color is E11. So we're going to use that. And we're going to just go over these edges and push this darkest color back into his hat. So you see how it starts softening that RV95 enough that it's not really obvious like it is here. It blends very nicely into the hat and skin the way that I want it to be. And knowing that it was going to do that is from experience with the markers. Once you get used to the markers, you'll really learn how that all works. It just takes practice and a bit of learning. So don't beat yourself up if you pick a wrong color, but that's the reason I'm going to do these in the book, because I have finished coloring something and said, that probably would have looked better with a different color. And so I'll choose another color and color it again and see how it goes. But in that book that I showed you, that's going to be the test book. There will be ones that I just put an X through and stamp again and try it again. So, because I won't always know what color I want right off the bat. So you guys are quiet. Are you learning a lot? Are you still there? Did I lose you? E21 is next. So we're just going to start building out from where we put that last color, bringing it a little bit more into his face, closing his ear off a bit. So we only have one color left. And again, remember, these are just your test samples, so they don't have to be perfect. They just have to give you the idea of what you're trying to get to, and are you happy with it? I forgot to do his hands, so we'll have to go back to that. Yay! I'm glad someone is still here. It says there's only one person watching, but I don't know how true that is. It hasn't been very accurate lately. See? Mom. Hey, Mom. Mom's here. E00 is the last color, so just kind of blend them all together with this very last color. I'm not going to go over the nose because we want to make that pink. We're going to put a bit in the ears just to blend those colors together as well. So I like his skin tone. It's a little bit darker than these pictures. These pictures have a much lighter skin tone. So if you wanted to go lighter, I would say leave out either E21 or E11 and it would get you a lighter skin tone. Those pictures that I chose, they also don't show blushy cheeks. And I like to put a little bit of the blushy cheeks. So if you wanted, you could add a color for that. I feel like our 21 and our RV 42 are too dark. But this is the point where if you wanted to, in parentheses, you could say use R11 or whatever to add to the cheeks. But I'm not going to do that because we're going to have a pink nose and I want to look at that first. So next it says the nose, start with RV 42. That's this one. And we're just going to put that on the underside just to give a bit of the shadow under his big nose. And then R21 is the next color. We're going to start from the top and go into the bottom color. That way we keep the separation of color. I don't know if you can see that real well, but you can tell it's darker on the bottom, lighter on the top. So I already think he's cute as pie right there, man, let me tell you. Okay, so this is such a tiny place for hands, so I'm gonna skip the RV95 and just go to the E11 for a little bit of shadow on those hands. And then I'm also gonna try to put E21 in there, just a teeny bit of it because it has a different tone than the E11. And then we'll finish it off with E00, just making sure we get that blended together and we don't have any spots on his hands. And that pretty much sets him off. So we now finished with skin and nose. So now I'm going to move on to his belt. So we're going to use C9. And we're going to put our darkest color here and up close to the buckle. And then I'm going to put it right in the center. Now these are fairly small images, so that you don't have to do a lot of coloring, which is why I thought we could do several tonight. This is C7. And of course I don't want to waste the time having done this and not use it. So I will cut these out and put them in that book in whatever manner I decide I want it to be. I haven't decided the design quite yet. So we'll go from there. And then I'm going to grab the last one, which is C6. And I'm just going to blend those colors together so that I have my little black belt. So now his belt is ready to go. As this dries, it's been getting slightly lighter. That always happens. So from there, we'll learn. We'll know that, and then we'll just color it lighter or darker. But I like the skin tone a little bit darker than it was in those photographs. It'll look lighter as I color in all the colors. So next we have gold, Y28, 26, and YR23 for that teeny tiny little bitty thing right there. So I don't think that's going to happen. I think I'm just going to stick with YR23 and just do the belt in YR23. However, we do have a few outfits coming up that are gold-ish, and we'll need all three of these colors. So I'm going to leave these colors out. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take where I put what colors I was going to use, and I'm going to circle this one. And I'm just going to put one line through those. That way, if I ever color it again and I have a larger subject, I'll still be able to read the numbers, but this is the only one I'm using on this image. There we go. So now we have our gold belt. So next it says the shoes, E43, 44, and 42. So here's 44, E44. I'm going to go ahead and put where I want that shadow to be. So on the floor, on the ground, where his feet are hitting, and then his little outfit that he has on kind of goes over his boots, so there'll be a bit of shadow there, and then they fold right there. So there needs to be a little bit of the dark on the fold as well. Hi, Shelly. Nice to see you. Next, we're going to go to E43, and we're going to start building from where we put that last color. So we're just going to extend out. We only have 3 colors, so this one's going to go all the way around the outside. And we're going to leave just small areas for the last color. So same on this side. I'm going to keep those shoes the same. And remember, his shoes were pretty light, so that's why I didn't use so much of the dark. I used a lot of the light color. E42 is the last one, so I'm going to use that one to blend these together and make them look really smooth. And now we have his little boots ready. So next it says to do the outfit in the YG colors. So I've grabbed the YG colors, and I'm going to start with the darkest one, which is YG 95. This is going to be for his outfit. He's going to have some shadow here where his outfit overlaps, a little bit here. And then because it's rounded around his body, I'm going to put some up here on each side. And then this part that's close to his body and where his hands are. And then I'm also going to do a little bit in here where his hands are covering his outfit. You could put some at the bottom if you wanted, like right along here, but I don't want a whole lot there. You could also put some below the belt if you wanted to, but it's going good. Mother Du Bois today. Oh, that sounds like fun, you guys. Next is YG 93. And I'm just going to start extending out. Now this turns a little bit more green, so I don't want like an enormous amount of this because I need that lighter color to lighten up this outfit, because right now this looks more like a green outfit, but we know when we add that last color it's really going to bring out what we need. Now I'll go below his belt and just extend out from where I put that darkest color. There we go. And then the YG 91 is maybe. YG 21 is the one we want to do first. So I actually wrote these 2 colors down wrong. This one is actually optional. And this one is going to be used here. So YG 21 is the one that we're going to blend the outfit together. If it happens to be the wrong color, then we can use the YG 91 to tone it down a little bit. But I think I'm kind of liking it in this color. And that's like your own personal preference, whatever color you think looks great and whatever color you want your Dopey to have. So I'm going to work this area right here where the 2 colors match, just to kind of get that to blend a little bit more. And now we have that really cute little green color for his outfit. Next we have his hat. So for the hat we had V28, 25, 12 with 22 optional. So I have them in that order. 28, 25, 12, and optional. So starting with V28, we're going to put the shadow areas on his hat. So up here, and these colors are fairly light. This isn't a real dark color. But it also isn't the color that it's going to be in the end. So I'm also going to do where the hat overlaps right there, and then a little bit where his ear is. And then this little part where the hat drops down back here underneath his head needs to have this color as well. That green, you like that green? See? I like that green too. It makes me happy. V25. This one turns it a little bit more on the purple side that we were looking for. But the other one leaves the shadow area. So extending out with this one. Starting to build out that color. Same with this one. Right here. And then down below here, he needs a bit of that. So now we have that done so far. Now we're going to switch it to that V12 to really bring that more of a dull purple to a brighter purple. We definitely need some Sassy and Sandy Love collabs. I love your coloring. Oh, yes, we do. I'm ready. When you're ready, I'm ready. For sure. Then V12, I'm going to go over the whole thing and extend out because this is going to change the color of the purple. So you have to go over the other color with it to mix the two together. You don't want to do a lot of blending because you'll wash out that dark color. But by going over it, you bring a collaboration of those colors today. It's happening. I'm ready. So here we go. We have those colors in there. Because this last color that's optional, we have to use all of this color because we only had 3 colors. But I feel like that then makes the top of his hat way too bright purple that I wasn't looking for. So we are going to use the 22 to tone that a bit. And I'll show you what I mean by that in just a second. If you hang out and stick around, you'll see. So it's purple hat, but a little more purple than I really wanted it to be. So V22, what I'm going to do is, in order to tone it down, is I'm just going to do a light sweep over top of that. Not a lot, not blending, just a light sweep over top of that color to deepen it up a little bit. And if that's not enough, you can go over it again, but it worked perfect for me. So I like it like that. Now, if I wanted to add a little bit of color to his eyes, I could, but it isn't really something that I would normally do. But you would just go around very lightly around the outsides of his eyes. We gave the skin tone enough time to dry. So it'll work out perfectly to give him a little bit of blue on his eyes. And then we'll use our white gel pen to put the little dots in his eyes. So now when I hold it up, you'll be able to see the blue around his eyes, just a little bit, the purple, the green, and here's our comparison. Pretty close. I mean, this is a printed one, so on the computer it'll probably be a little bit darker, but it's pretty doggone close to what I wanted. I like the colors. That's the color I would use when I do that in a speed coloring video. Those are the colors that I would use. And I have them all written down so I know exactly what I used when I made it. Now let's try, this is Grumpy and this is Grumpy. Very, very close. Yep. I mean, you could add some yellow in there if you wanted to make it much brighter, but this almost looks like baby poo, and I like it better in this color. When I hold it up, it's much brighter in real life than it looks on camera, but there is more of a green tone to it. So if you wanted it to be more like this, you would need to add some yellow to that color to get to that. Because that's what it's missing, more green, less yellow. So that's how I would do that. So the next one is Grumpy, that's him. So we're gonna stick with all the same colors on the skin tone so we don't have to change anything. So what I would do is on him, I would say skin, repeat, above colors. so I don't have to write them over again. Nose, same. We're going to repeat that. Now his belt and buckle, so belt and buckle, also the same. Same as above. So we're going to follow with the same colors. I almost think his shoes are the same too. So shoes, same, or that, whatever you want to say. And then his outfit changes. So his outfit is broken too. So his shirt is going to be red, and his pants are going to be a brownish color. And then his hat will also be different. And his eyes don't have a color in them, so we're not going to do anything with his eyes. But he does have a beard, so we have to add his beard. And for beards, I always go with the C's. So I'm going to do C3, C1, and C00. And the optional is 0, the colorless blender. So let me pull C3, 1, and 00. So we'll have that. And then, let's see, we need to choose his shirt and his pants. So his shirt is red. More of a cranberry red than a bright fire engine red. So I feel like it needs a bit of, I'm going to actually use 4 colors because I think we need 4 colors to get to this color. So I'm going to start with our 59 because 89 I think will be too dark. So I'm going to go with 59, and then I'm going to use our 27, which is a pretty good mix there. But the R46 gives us more of the fire engine red kind of red, so I'm going to use that one. And then I'm going to use R24 to lighten up that fire engine red. And we're going to get us a red like this. See if I can fold it over so you can really see the red that we're going to use. I feel like that's pretty darn close. So that will be our red. So we want to write that down in that order. So for the shirt, we had our 59, then we did our 27, our 46, and our 24. And these two are interchangeable. You can use either one first, whichever way works best for you. Whichever one works best for you. And then the pants. So the pants and the hat look like they're about the same exact brown. So this brown to me, it looks more like the 50s. So 57, 55. The problem is when you get to 53, it's way too light. So this is 57. That's about the exact color. 55 would be the lighter color, so that would be your highlight. So I guess we would go 59 as darker, and that would give us that tone that we want. So I wasn't going to use 59 because I thought it'd be too dark, but once we swatched it out, I think this is the color. So I'm now going to put them on here. We want E, 59, 57, and 55. And that's same for the hat. We're going to use the exact same colors for the hat. So now we're ready. That didn't take too long. Swoop. Next one. So this is our Grumpy. And I should put their names on here because really, come on. Dopey. Grumpy. And Bashful. Okay, so Grumpy. Let's start with the skin tone again, because that's what we have up here. I almost always start with skin tone. You can start with whatever you want, but I almost always start with skin tone. So where did my RV95 go? There it is. Okay. So we have the E000 that we're going to put over the whole thing. And we're just wetting the paper. You don't have to do a whole lot. You don't have to saturate it a whole lot. Just get a bit of color on there. The little hands, as he has them crossed and he's grumping out there. Next, we're going to use the shadow color, which is RV95. Now, his hat is back kind of on his head, so I don't really see a whole lot of shadow there. So I'm just going to put a little bit down the side, like here, and then the other side. And then he's got a little bit up underneath these big cheeks he's got going on here with this little grumpy look. And then on his hands, whatever's up close to the shirt and whatever's sitting on the other arm. So that will kind of get us some shadow color in there. This time I'm going to switch E11 and E21. So I'm going to make a little note that says switch E21 and E11. So I can remember that that's what I did. And that way it'll show you what each color does. So you can choose which one you want to use. They're a little bit interchangeable. They both work side by side very well either way. But as you can tell, when you use E21 instead of E11, or with my markers anyway, the E21 is a little bit more on the peachy side, and the E11 is toned down a lot from the peachy color. It has more of a pink base to it. So depending on what you're looking for, you'll want to work with the colors like that, whatever your desire is. So I'm going to put a little bit of this one up underneath his nose right here, because he is grumpy and we need his face to look a bit on the grumpy side. Now a little bit on his hands. You could put some of the darkest color underneath there in those little, if you really want to intensify that grumpy look. So I would just put just a teeny bit like right here. And then anytime you add the dark back in, you have to go back over with the next color, like walk it down, so you can soften that color. And that looks a little bit better. I'm kind of glad I went back and did that. So the next one is E11. So this one I'm going to start building out. You can tell this one is a much peachier, pink than peach. The other one is more peach. This one's more pink. So this is going to soften him up to a more pink look. And since he's grumpy, his face might be a little bit on the red side. So we're just going to go ahead and give him more of the peachy look, the pinky look instead of the peachy look. I put a little bit up there underneath his eyes. Or in between his eyes. And then we're going to come in with the very last color, which is the E00. And we're just going to blend that out. Mix in all those colors together to get a smooth blend. I almost like it better, I think, now that I have the colors reversed. So we'll have to decide what we want to do with the next guy. Do we want to make him more pinky or more tan? And then we'll touch on his hands as well. And next we'll do his nose. So we're sticking with the same colors that we used on the other one. So we're going to use that RV42. And we're going to put that RV42 right towards the bottom of his nose. Now, this is the important part. Whenever we come in with the R21, and I said this last time, but just to emphasize, I'm not going to go from the color up. I'm going to go from the top down. That way I'm not dragging this dark color up his nose. I'm pushing back into this color. And then that leaves the bottom of his nose darker and the top of his nose lighter, which is exactly what I was going for. And we might have to go a little darker on our sneezy nose, but for now, this is the one we have. So next we have the belt and the buckle, and you can't even see really much of anything. So for the buckle, I'm going to just do that YR23 again. And then we're going to use the C9, 7, and 6 for the belt. So here's C9. A lot of it is hidden by his beard, and that's okay. We just want to lightly put a little bit of this darkest color in there. And then C7. Just a little bit of that. And then we'll use C6 for the last one. And there we go. Next it says the shoes, and we have the shoes the same as Dopey. So E44 is going to be E44. And he has a little fold over on his shoes, so we're going to put the 44 underneath that and also at the edges. I'm going to follow it down the bottom of his shoes because the bottom of your shoes are always darker, and then anywhere that folds, we'll need just a tad bit of color in there. So down here on the bottom of his feet, toes, then where it folds, and the two edges of his boots. And those have the darkest color. And next we have E43. And we're just going to start blending out from where we put that last color. This is our mid-tone. So if you have that really steady hand, you can go along the edge. But if you don't worry about it. Just skip that part. Just starting to build out that darker color. Notice I'm not leaving my pen on the paper very long because this E43 will wash out 44, and I don't want to have to go back in and add the depth again. I did miss a little bit. I need a little bit more on this one. I don't have enough colored in there. E42. We're going to finish this off. Blend this out. I'm going to put one coat, and then I'll come back and soften those colors here in a minute. So I want to, you can see this big spot right here. We don't want to leave that. So I'm just going to go along the edges of that spot and soften them up so it's not so obvious that that's where the colors met up. And I'm just barely touching the paper when I do that to get that very smooth blend. Okay, so next we have the outfit. So the shirt is the red, so I'm going to pull my red out. Our 59 is the darkest color. So we're going to go ahead and start putting that in. So wherever they overlap, so here, we need some there. And then of course the underside needs a bit. Probably put some there. This is his beard, so you don't want to color on that. I like to put it around the wrist. I just like doing that, but you don't have to. Underneath the belt, under the beard. And then I'm going to work on these little folds in his outfit a little bit. I'm not going to give him big creases, but I want to put a little bit of fold in that shirt. Next, we're going to use our 27. And you can reverse 27 and 26. I think 27 might be a little bit lighter than 26. But I want to kind of get this color in before I go in with that really bold 46. So I'm going to go ahead and blend this in there. And then we'll come back with the 46 and add the depth to it. I got a little bit on his beard, which is a little bit of a bummer. But that's what the white gel pen's for. Because red is not your friend when you're trying to move color. So we'll use the white gel pen to fix that. No problemo. Plus, this is just our sample, so it's not that bad of a deal. Our 46, again, I said that one was darker, so I'm going to go over the 27 and blend out even more. If that's a little bit cherry-ish, the next color will wash that out some. Of course, the cherry is my favorite color, so, I mean, not my favorite color ever, but it's my favorite red. Because you all know purple's my favorite color. Hi, Deb. R24, we're going to blend that in a little bit of a back and forth motion just to get the color in there, and we'll come back and fix those spots. Just hang tight a minute. Okay, I give it a second to dry, and then I'm going to go work those areas where the colors meet up, just to smooth that out. So you can see it over here, but you can't see it anymore over here, and that's the point that we're trying to make. So go back to the area you can see it and blend it out just a little bit more. Don't overblend, because then you'll wash out the color, but definitely do it until you can't see those spots anymore. So there's a couple down here, so we're going to work on this one just a little bit, and then we're going to come over and work on this one just a little bit, and then we're going to work on this one, and then this one, and then we're going to go back to any ones that we can still see. So if you just keep going over it and over it and over it and over and over and over, then you're just scrubbing the paper with it, and it's not going to give you that blend. It's just going to start washing out colors, and you're going to be very unhappy with your blend. So don't do that. Okay, the pants are E59, 57, and 55, and so is the hat. So we can do all of that at one time. So here's E59. We'll start down here underneath his shirt and the insides of his legs. And then we're going to go up to his hat. So this is all hat, all the way down here. This is hat. I'm just going to put one tiny line up against his head, like that. And then this right here where the hat overlaps itself, and right here where the beard is shadowing over the hat. And now we're going to switch to our E57. Now remember, our E55 is extremely light, and it's going to give us a bit of a challenge for blending. So we want to put more of the E57 and just use the E55 to lighten the areas. And I'll show you how to do that. So there's barely any white left on here. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Just leaving a teeny bit of white, not much. This one will be the same way. We're going to go around the top, so we have that color there, and we're going to go around where we put that darkest color. We're just going to leave a teeny bit for the last color, not a lot. just a little. This almost makes the color of the hat the way that we want it to be. Just going to leave a teeny bit there on the tip of the hat to go around the outside here. And I'm just going to leave a small area on the top of the hat as well. So just tiny, tiny areas. We'll take that E55 and we'll blend this out so that it blends together, and you'll notice it lightens up the colors. This one will definitely lighten the colors a bit. So we don't need a lot of it because we'll wash out what we did. We don't want to do that. And you'll be able to see it a little bit more up here. So I'm going to go over some of the hat, and then I'm going to work this area right here. And as you can see, in order to blend it, it lightens it up quite a bit. So if I hold that up close, you can really see where that lightest color is. It's perfect. In person, it's perfect. So we're going to do the same thing with this one. We're just going to keep working that little area right there until it blends nicely. We're going to do the same thing with this. We're just going to keep going over this until we get a good blend, and it will lighten it up a little bit. So as you can see how you can see the highlight on his hat so well now? It's almost perfect. I'm going to go over one more coat on these because I feel like they're a little bit light, and a second coat once it dries will darken it up just a tad. And I think that looks great. Now you could leave his beard like that if you're okay with white, like the white of the paper, but I like it to have a bit of gray in it. So C3 is what I'm going to use. And when I do it, I'm going to do a lot of this flicking or brush stroking, whatever you want to call it. And notice how they're very far apart. I want them to be far apart because I want this to look like hair. I don't want it to look one solid color. And then we're going to do the same thing with the part that goes from here. Now I get that there's a little bit of red right there, and I'm okay with that because it's not really visible all that much, and this is just a test. I'll just be more careful when I do the actual one. So C1, I'm going to come in and I'm going to try to touch in between where I put those other colors. I'm also going to try to do like a smooth line along the face. So this is going to soften up those brush strokes I put in there already that were C3, but it's going to leave them visible. I'm going to do the same thing down here. And then when I get ready with my C00, I'm going to do it from the opposite direction because I don't want to drag these dark colors down. I want to wash up into them. So I'm going to use this C00 to go up into the other colors. Same thing down here. All the way up into the other colors. So now you can see the scruff in his beard. It looks like his beard is hair versus leaving it completely white like we had before. Now he looks a little crazy because we didn't put his eyes in, but once we put his little eyes in, he's super cute. And you can put accents on him as well if you want, but look at how cute he is. And look at him. We have him. I mean, come on. It doesn't get much better than that. It really looks like the colors. So that is grand. Rubber band. Bashful is next. So this is Bashful right here. He has his eyes closed. We don't even have to worry about his eyes. So for skin, same as above. So this time I'm going to say skin, nose, belt, and buckle, And I think his shoes are the same. This is the bigger version of Bashful. His shoes are about the same. I think they all have about the same shoes. So shoes. And I'm going to do this. And I'm just going to say same as above. Now we have to decide his shirt and pants. So his outfit. We have two parts to it. The shirt and the pants. And then we have his hat, which we'll have to do. And then, of course, his beard, which is the same. So, beard, same as above. So really, once you get the colors you want, you're kind of just replicating the colors. The only thing that changes is the outfit. So for this guy, his jacket here, it's almost like a brownish orange, which I generally find that you can find the brownish orange with the YR27. This might actually be better for his pants, but yeah, the YR27 is better for his pants. And the YR24, so that's good for the pants. And then this one will start with YR24 for the top. And then we'll add the YR23 for the top. That'll lighten that up to more of this color. But we're not going to add it to the bottom because the bottom is more orange. So I need to add in an orange to give it an orange tint. And I don't know if that orange would be better at YR15 or 14. So we'll test them out. So this is the pants. That's YR15. This is YR14. Oh, I think I like 14 better. So we'll do YR14. So for the pants, we have YR27. Then we have YR24. And then YR14. And then for the shirt, we're going to skip the YR27 and we're going to use YR24. And then we're going to use YR23. And then we need one more color to finish off his top. So we need a lighter color than that. So I tend to go towards either Y21 or Y32. YR21 or Y32. So this is Y32. It's okay. It's more yellow than I really wanted. And this is YR21. Oh, there it is. YR21 is our color. So those are our colors that I have chosen now, and they're all written out so we can just follow along with them. So I'm going to put these aside and we're going to color him. Now, when I put this in the book and it looks so pretty and it's easy to go back and refer to, I mean, think of how handy that is to have. That is your book of, that would be like your coloring left arm, if you will. So for skin, we started out with E000. So we're going to do the same thing with this little guy. E000. If you're still watching and you've been watching from the beginning, you know these are the colors we used already. So we're going to use them just slightly faster than we have. RV95 is next. His hat does go over his forehead, so we're going to put this at the top of his forehead. We're going to go down the side just a little because of his beard. And then we're going to come around the bottom of these big cheeks. And then under his finger and along this side just a little. And then I'm going to put it up close to his skin. I think I like this color combination better than this one, but we're going to repeat this one again just so we can see. So we said RV95 and then E11. This is the pinky color. We're putting it before the peach. This is my Merry Christmas, this is how I choose my colors moment for you guys. If you ever wanted to know, this is the video to watch. I'm going to put a little bit up underneath that big nose of his. It's going to look like a mustache at first, but don't worry, we'll fix that. Then E21, which is this one. It's called Soft Skin Color, but it's definitely more peachy orange than pinky, like the last color was more pink. So I'm going to go over it a second time just to make sure I get a pretty good blend there. This one I'm going to go from the other direction just to get that blend started and going real good. I'm going to do it on his hand as well. Soften up some of those spots. And then we're going to use the E00, which is back to like a pinky color. This one is actually called Skin White. We're going to start blending that together. It's okay if you go over his nose. His nose is going to be pink anyway. So I'm kind of going around his nose to blend those colors, soften all of that up. And then we're going to finish his little hand here. And now we're going to skip to his nose real quick, which was our RV42. And then R21. If you're watching, I already talked about all of this. He's bashful, so he needs pink cheeks. So I'm going to add a bit of this R21 to his cheeks. And then I'm going to go over it again with the E00. So I'm going to make a little note to myself that says R21 added to cheeks. Then we're going to take this E00 and we're just going to blend that out just a little bit so that it doesn't stand out too awful much and that it blends in with the skin tone. And I don't want his cheeks to be like bright red because he is a man, not a girl with blush. But there you go. Now he has a little bit more pink cheeks. All right, so the belt buckle, we know that we did just YR23 on that one, but there's a teeny bit bigger space, so I'm going to use the Y26. So this one, I should probably make a note of that on the belt. So Y26 and YR23 are the ones that I used. So 26 on the end, on the shadowed areas, and then YR23 to finish it off. The belt's the black, so the C9, 7, and 6. So this is that same pattern. Oops, I just threw my marker lid at myself. That's what I get for trying to go fast. C7. Gonna blend that out a little bit. And then C6 will finish it off. Shoes are the same. Who knows shoe colors? Because we've only gone over this. This is the third time. E44. His boots are the same as his, so we're going to follow that same exact pattern. We're going to make them look the same pretty much. Wherever it folds. Next is E43. Are you guys still here? You guys are quiet. You must be mesmerized. Am I mesmerizing today? E43. I'm going to go along the top. I'm going to blend this out. Oh, I just thought I put my hair on the screen. I hope I didn't. Okay. We're going to do the same thing with this one. You guys, I have to pack tonight. And we're leaving at 5 in the morning. 5 a.m. Yay, Cheryl's here. E42. We're going to blend that together. Remember, we just put a coat over top of it and then we let it dry and we come back to it. And then we work that transition spot. So we can get that nice smooth blend there. Same thing on this side. Gonna work that just a little bit. There we go. So now his little shoes are done. So now we get to work on the outfit. So his outfit shirt is YR24, YR23, and YR21. So here we go. YR24. We're going to put that in the shadow areas, and we're going to try really hard not to touch the beard because it needs to remain white. I'm going to put just a little bit around these sides and this side. And since his shirt has a little bit of a fold there, I'm going to do the same thing I did with the other one just to show a little bit of movement in that shirt. Under his hand, don't shake the table please, around the bottom of his arm. And then we're going to switch to the next color. We didn't do his hat color. We missed his hat color. YR23. We're going to just go over and extend from that last color. Same thing on this one. Extending out a little bit further. Extending out here and here and up under his beard. And then I'm going to do in between each one so I can do the around the outside. And then I'm going to extend up these little folds right here. Hi, Wendy. YR21 is the last color, so I'm going to go ahead and smooth out that part right there. And this part right here. And then we're going to work this shirt, and I might need a little bit more of the darker color in this shirt. So I'm going to flip back real quick to YR23, and I'm going to add just a little bit coming from each one of these folds, just so I have a little bit more of this darker color in the shirt. And then we're going to blend with the YR21. That's much better. You know, when you're coloring with Copics or alcohol markers of any sort, you can always go back and add more. Can't take it away, but you can always add more. So don't hesitate if you want to do that. Now his pants are YR 27, 24, and 14. And his hat is a totally different color. Just peeking in as I doze off. I'll be back to watch the replay tomorrow, but how fun to fall asleep to. Oh, yay. Thank you, Wendy. Yeah, you'll like it. This is a really detailed, one about coloring and how to pick your colors and such. So it's a good one to catch up on. So YR27. Then we need to put a little bit of YR24 in here. And we can't go without the last color because it's the one that really brings the orange out. So the last color is YR14. And we're going to kind of go over the whole thing. You know how I talked about when you change tones, you really need to touch over all of it when you're doing that. Otherwise, it just doesn't look right together. It looks like you have a brown and an orange. I don't know. It just doesn't match up correctly. So there's that one. Next, we have the hat. And we didn't pick the color of the hat. So this is Bashful, and his hat is, immediately my brain goes straight to BG 78, 75, 72. So we're going to try that first. So this is BG 78. Look at that. Doesn't get better than that. 75. Why is 75 darker? I wonder if I put the wrong color in there. And then 72. So I think I have my I think I put my colors in the wrong marker. I think I put the dark in the 75 and the light in the 78. So I will write that it's BG 78, 75, and 72, but I'm going to color them backwards. Okay, so BG 70, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, BG 78 is the one we're going to start with, the darkest one. I might have to get myself a new 78 and 75. I think I colored them in the wrong order. I think I refilled them wrong. Hey, we're not, none of us are perfect. I'm also going to put a little fold in this hat right here because I think it'll make it look really cute. And I'll put a little fold down here. And then 75 should be lighter. Let's hope this works. Yep. So we're just extending from where he put that last color. Don't you hate it when you put the wrong refill color in? What a bummer. Then 72 is the last one. It's going to be really light, so I might need a tip to tip, but we'll just see how it goes. Yeah, I think I'm going to need that. Also, I'm not really, this color looks really good, but it's almost like it's missing a color. So hold on, we'll hold it up close and see if we need to add another tone to it. This is, see his hat's a little bit lighter. It looks good, but it needs one thing added to it. One of those sweep over it to give it that color. So I am thinking, and it could just be the way my printer came across that it looks a little bit different. But it looks lighter, and I'm almost thinking a mint, like a mint green. So let's see what this YG45 looks like over top of it. Oh, I think that's it. That's what I need. So we're going to take this YG45 We're just going to add it over top of what we already colored, just to change it a little bit to make that color what we want it to be. Now look how much better that looks. It's of course lighter because it's printed on a printer, but it's definitely closer to that color. It, in real life, when you look at it, is definitely closer to that color. So I'm going to take my pen, and on my hat, I'm going to say, I'm going to over paint with YG 45. So we just add that little note, and then we'll know for next time. So here's our cute little guy, and here's what he looks like. Pretty close. Here's another version of him. Pretty close. I'd say that's pretty close. Hi, Beth. So when I'm coloring, this is what I do. I grab pictures, I print them out off the internet, and I try to match the colors so that my little guys look like the little guys that I see in the pictures. So that's 3 of them. We can do the other ones another time. I don't know that you got, what time is it, honey?
Yes, hi.
Huh?
Beth says hi.
Hi, Beth. What time is it, honey? Do you know? Huh? 10. 10? Okay. Yeah, we've been going for a bit, so these are the 3. This gives you a really good foundation to go with, and then we can do the other 3, 4. We actually have 4 more to go, but we can do the other ones on the next video so you can see how we come up with the colors for the remaining 3. But we can put all the markers away, and I'll still know how to match these with these because I wrote down all the colors. So I can't wait to get started on my book, and if I have time, I may add these to the book just so you guys can see what that looks like before we meet up and do this, the rest of the dwarves. But I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you learned a little bit on how to match up the colors. Again, I just found them straight off the internet. I just printed out what I wanted it to look like. You can do this with anything. You can do this with any character. You can do it with any image that you want, like flowers or, you know, anything. Just print you a picture and then try to replicate the colors. And it takes a bit of practice. I've had a lot of practice on it. So don't be discouraged if you don't pick the right colors right off the bat. And feel free to reach out if you have questions on the colors. We can certainly talk through them. But here is our Dopey, Grumpy, and Bashful for tonight. And I hope you guys really liked that. Be on the lookout for more to come, more of these to come soon. And I really appreciate you guys following me. I'm still going to see you before Christmas next week, Tuesday, 8:30 Central. So you guys have a great weekend. Get all your tasks done so you can join me on Tuesday. And I'll talk to you later. Good night. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe. Oh my gosh, we missed his beard. You guys, nobody told me we missed his beard. I can't leave him beardless. We have to do it real quick. We have to. C3. I'm sorry. We have to do his beard. We can't leave him with this white beard. White paper colored beard. So I'm going to start following this beard based on the way the shape of the beard is. It'll only take us a second or 2 to do this beard, but I am not leaving you guys uncolored. Seriously. You can stick around if you want to watch the beard, or you can take your leave and go do whatever. I think I'm going to put just a little bit more of this C3 because his beard is so long, and come up just a little bit from the bottom as well. And I don't want those to meet up with the ones on the top. I want them scattered so it looks more like hair. here is C1 in between where I put the C3. Just like we talked about on the other one. I am not going to leave you with this unfinished. I just can't do it. I'm sorry. Sorry I said goodbye before I was ready to say goodbye. And then our C00. Going to work that from the bottom. Just blending those colors together. And how much better does it look? So much better. All right, we have a beard. Okay, now I'm gonna let you guys go. Thank you so much for joining me. Love you guys. I'll see you next week.